Welcome back to Build Your Empire Through Real Estate. I'm your host, Alexis Lekas, and I have a special, fun, friendly client guest today, Delia Dreifurst. Welcome.
Thank you. I love that you called me friendly. I'm in it. I'm here for that.
Friend like, I don't,
Yeah, I mean it's
listen,
better
it's
than a friend of me.
it's better than a friend of me for everybody out there listening. I
Yeah.
love it. Where are you coming in from today? Why don't you tell everybody who's listening?
So I'm in what's called the Quad Cities. It's on the border of Iowa and Illinois, the eastern side of the Iowa area, the state of Iowa. My brokerage, Keller Williams One Advantage, is in Davenport now as of like 72 hours ago. We are a brokerage that we serve Iowa, Illinois. We're up and down the eastern corridor. So we're literally flyover country in middle of America.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Flyover with so much to do, though.
So much to do. And we have a lot of headquarters here, like John Deere and a whole bunch of industry. So it's a great place to live, great place to do real estate, affordable place for real estate. And it's probably one of my most favorite places on the planet.
And if you're thinking about buying or selling, call me at no.
Yeah, right. It's like that one video, whatever we hear at the ALC clinic where you can like recite it word for word. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That's so great. Well, I am super excited to have you on today. We're going to dive deep into obviously being a leader of an 83-person real estate brokerage
Yeah.
in Davenport, as you just nailed down for everybody listening. You guys have 83 agents today, and roughly soon enough, it'll mark 7 or 8 years as a team leader.
Yeah. I like to tell people that I've had at least 3 team leader lives. You have to show up differently each sort of iteration of leadership that you have in operating principle. My first one, I was a brand new team leader right into the real estate industry. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I definitely got some hard lessons really quickly and survived. And I think I survived way better than most people would have thought I did. Then I had a second OP after that, which was a completely different life. As a team leader, I had to show up in a completely different way, had to fight for things in a completely different way. And something that was also, I guess, counterintuitive to how I typically lead. So I got a lot of lessons there, and I'm forever grateful for them. I never feel badly about a lesson. I always just take the lesson and keep moving. And now, which we'll talk about, I think today, is I have a new OP, new ownership, and it's requiring me to be a student of being a team leader and being a student of the industry again. And I'm really, really, really enjoying it.
I love that. I love that. 7 or 8 years later, just taking it all in once again, which is
And it's kind of
fantastic.
like a marriage. Like, I think I blacked out for about 3 or 4 of those years, but
Perfect.
right.
I love it. Well, I'm sure a lot of people listening right now can relate. And I want to properly introduce you as you so obviously deserve. So, for those that are listening today, now you know where my friend Delia comes from. I want to properly introduce her. Delia is a powerhouse in the Midwest real estate, blending nearly a decade of hands-on production experience with a passion for leadership, growth, and entrepreneurship. As team leader and growth coach at Keller Williams One Advantage, she leads one of the region's fastest growing brokerages spanning Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin, and is driving force behind the expansion into new markets, including Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, and Lansing. Known for her energetic, no-nonsense approach to business, Delia empowers agents to build profitable, sustainable careers by mastering the fundamentals of production, mindset, and wealth building. She is a sought-after speaker and trainer, teaching courses like the AI Playbook for Realtors and Blueprint in 2026, where she merges proven Keller Williams models with modern tech, automation, and digital branding strategies. Delia's mission is to help agents and entrepreneurs alike think bigger, leveraging systems, strategies, and smart investments to create true freedom and generational wealth. She's passionate about culture, collaboration, and impact, and embodies the Keller Williams philosophy of God, family, then business, while leading by example in every arena she touches. Delia, welcome, I should say, back to Build Your Empire Through Real Estate.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
love
I'm really
it.
excited to be here. I love doing these things. I love talking to people about real estate. I love talking to people about growth and leadership, and I'm just really pleased to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. And
Yeah.
I told her before, I said, hey, listen, your bio might be a little long, but what I want to bring up, because we shortened it, and I don't want to leave out that Delia is a serial entrepreneur. You do have other successful businesses
I do.
alongside your spouse, running a successful real estate business, sales business, etc. You've done really, really well for yourself. What is something that you do every day that allows you to show up in this role at the highest level, managing so many other things?
There's two things that are really, really important. The first one is systems. I have some of the most simple systems. A lot of people are doing things that they don't realize are systems. And sometimes you start really small, which is you have a note in the note app on your iPhone and you just copy and paste the same things over and over again. That's a system. And it was something that allowed me to do something more efficiently and quicker. And I've grown in my systems, but then also I have leverage. Like there are people in my world that help me do things better and help me have more time back. And I couldn't be who I am and show up in the way that I do if I didn't have those things. And when those things fall apart, everything falls apart.
Yeah. No, I love that feedback, but also I want to highlight you haven't always had leverage. So, what did you do to be successful in this role before that? When you didn't, maybe you couldn't afford it or didn't have it or it just wasn't in your wheelhouse at that point.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we're the only one that could do it the way that we need to have it done. So I
Hmm.
just really had to get out of my own way. Um, if you are hyper independent like me, you think that you're the only person that can do that job or send that email or draft that thing or make that call or do whatever it is. And so I really had to just get out of the way because what I was doing was I was slowing down every other process because I needed to do it myself. And
Hmm.
so in my real estate business, I hired a TC, transaction coordinator. So someone who's putting the listings in, someone who is doing all of the contract to close work, setting up my schedule, making the calls. That to me saved 10 hours at least in the transaction. Things that happen, it's kind of like likening it to mailbox money. It's happening while I sleep so that I don't have to really spend a lot of time, but I know and trust that it's getting done because they're following a system that I set up. And then, quite frankly, it's like understanding your gaps. One of the conversations I had with an agent a couple of weeks ago was here's your style, right? Here's how you do your job. Here are the things that happen every time you take a listing. Here are the things every time you show a house. Tell me what you're good at. Now tell me what you're not good at. And that was the aha for me, where it was like, I'm not good at this one thing because I don't slow down to make the time to get it done. So I just took a list of things that I don't have time for, and I put off and procrastinate, and those became the items that I leveraged.
Yeah, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. And then you eventually obviously earn the right to get that leverage, right? And a
Yeah.
big part of that, oh, go ahead.
No, the earn the right thing, I've been really leaning into that.
Mm.
As agents, we believe we deserve things. We might deserve the professional fee. We might deserve a day off. We might deserve to not have to lead generate today. Whatever that thing is you deserve because you woke up thinking that you have already earned it. I've reminded myself that in order for me to get the results, I have to earn the right to get the result. And you
Mm.
earn the right by either recognizing the gap or you have already done the work. And
Mhm.
that has been a very big turning point for me this year.
Here's an interest. I love that. And I'm curious because what goes through my head is how do you know? How do you measure? How do you decide when you've earned the right for something?
That's an awesome question. And the answer is you've earned the right when the results just show up
Hmm.
automatically, right?
Yeah.
If you're lead generating once every 3 weeks, you haven't earned the right to not lead generate. If you tell me that your business comes from straight referrals and you don't have to lead generate, you've earned the right to get the business from your database. However, you've forgotten about the fact that you didn't earn the right to stop looking for new business. So
Mm.
for me, I believe the turning point is when the results keep coming because I've been doing it consistently. Now I've earned the pardon me, now I've earned the right to leverage that piece of the work so that number one, the systems are built and they can follow the play. Number two,
Yeah.
I don't have to lose a lot of time reteaching someone. And number three, I then hired the right person or the right
Yeah.
company or the right thing.
Totally. I love that. Very similarly to me, the way I measure it is it's exactly like what you're saying. It's like I have a milestone. I
Mhm.
love to have milestones and I
Yep.
earn different rights for different, whatever it might be, vacations,
Mhm.
leverage, this, that, the other, right? We don't need any
Mhm.
more a judgment here. So we won't say exactly what we want to earn the right for. Maybe it's a new
Right.
purse. I don't know. But it's at the end of the day, whatever works for you, it's for me, it's milestones. That's how I measure it. And that's
Mhm.
worked really well in my journey through serial entrepreneurship. And I get asked that question a lot. So thank you for sharing your perspective. I
Yeah,
love that.
of course.
So I want to highlight something because I don't want us to just like pass over it. You guys are one of the fastest, if not fastest growing real estate brokerages spanning through Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. And one of the things that we have somewhat touched on so far that I think is going to help a lot of people tuning in today, whether a mega agent, right, getting into real estate, starting a real estate team, running a successful brokerage like yourself, is you guys went through a new ownership
We
uh,
did.
recently. And you guys, you came on here and said, yes, we've been in this new building in Davenport, right? In
Yeah.
72 hours. In 72
Yeah,
hours.
like
So
I think the agents moved in last week and yeah. The
feel like
paint's
it's
still
still
drying.
clean. That should tell you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your experience as a brokerage leader, really showing up for 83 people and coaching them every day to help grow their business and being able to make sure everybody feels comfortable and confident enough with this ownership change and location change and new re-grand opening. Like, talk a little bit about how you navigated that.
It's so crazy because we started the year with an ownership change. And that in itself was an incredible transition. I mean, we kept 100% of our agents, and not a lot of brokerages can say that.
Huge.
Then, we knew for some months that we may be moving, and we went through some of that, real estate life of commercial and looking and trying to find the right places that would fit us. And we did, and we pulled that together in about 3 weeks, and which sounds crazy, but in real estate, we're like, oh, that's nothing, right? We can pull off miracles in 24 hours. And it really just comes down to two things. The first one is I earn the right to have the trust of my agents. And I believe very strongly that they know that as their leader, I will never put them in a position that will sacrifice or hinder their business. And
Mm-hmm.
so through the ownership change, I spent a lot of time preparing all of the systems, all of the marketing, all of the support, all of the leverage, all the communication, so that when it was rolled out, it just hit them every other day. And every resource, everything that you could think of, from how to change the logos on their website to what does it look like on my new sign? What is my new business card? What happens with my listings? What happens with
Yeah.
my license? You have to transfer licenses. You know how many people you lose in the license transfer process?
Oh,
We
yeah.
have 3 states that we had to transfer licenses. And if you know anything about real estate, you know that they're all done differently. Um, and so, interestingly enough, because of the way licensing works, I had to get my managing broker's license in Illinois, and I did it in 9 days. And that was to allow us to have one brokerage open while we stood up the other brokerage. And it was a lot. So, that trust that that I have with my agents was really, really key, because when I stood in front of them at a launch meeting and said, you know, meet the new owner and here's the new brand, they didn't know. They knew something might be happening, but they had no concept that we were going to be rebranded, have to
Wow.
switch licenses, all of that. So I stood in front of them with our new OP and said, congratulations, we have a new owner, and here are all the services and value we can provide as this new company. Oh, and by the way, I have to transfer your license in 24 hours. And they're like, what about my listings? What about my buyers? And so that entire process was orchestrated by us. And the trust that we had with those agents, I stood in front of them, was able to confidently say, I have thought of everything and handled everything. You only have to push the easy button. And it allowed us to keep 100% of our agents. And then with the move, same thing. It really we created an environment where the agents could literally just walk into the new office and put their pens down.
Mm,
And I believe that's so important. Number one, for the experience. I want our agents to feel like we are always thinking about their livelihood. There's a big difference with KW with other brokerages, and that in other brokerages, their client would be the brokerage client. And in our brokerage, I wake up every day to make sure that they have the tools, technology, and the resources so that their businesses can be as big and wonderful as they need to be so their clients can have the best experience. In my
yeah.
business, my agents are my client. And so I
Yep.
think about that process like taking a listing or signing an EBA. I want to make sure that they have a great experience. And so I really try to make it white glove, right? And it came down to trust. And here we are.
I love it. God, there's so many golden nuggets in what everything you just shared. And I just want to highlight for a second. People listening, talk about wearing so many hats and doing what it takes to service for people at the highest level. I mean, I know because Delia and I work closely together. And just so you're aware, yes, she did say I went and got my broker's license in
Yeah,
9 days
9 days.
so that I could make sure we could seamlessly transfer everybody over from brokerage state line to brokerage state line.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm talking about like I did it online, the 60 hours, took the class, took the test. You guys, the day of the day before, the day I took the class, I was leaving for family reunion the next day. And so I had to do the remote option of the test. If you ever want to see somebody lose their mind, it's the remote option for real estate testing. My computer wouldn't work. My backup computer didn't work. So I'm literally on a Saturday morning at the front desk, taking everything out of the front desk, setting up a computer, tears streaming down my face, completely rattled. And then I took the test and I passed, thank God Almighty. And, I have a good relationship with the licensing chief in Illinois. And so I was like, I passed and here's everything. And now what? And he was like, license issued. Yay. I mean, like, so being able to have those relationships, and I got a managing broker's license just to stand up a brokerage. To me, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that because I'm the best managing broker or the best leader or the best team leader. What I did was decided that there was going to be no obstacle.
mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
There was going to be no obstacle in my way to make this transition so smooth. People don't even know that's what I did, right? Like I didn't tell my agents until there were a couple people that were like, how did you do this? And I said, well, let me tell you about it. And they're like, wow. But that's how far I will go to make sure, like, I don't have a stake in this company. Like I do, but I don't have an ownership stake. I wake up every day to make sure that this experience is amazing for people. And sometimes I fall. And sometimes I knock it out of the park. That day I knocked it out of the park.
I love
That's what
that.
it is.
I love
Yeah.
that. God, I had to highlight it because it's so mind blowing, right? And you're just a testament of what we can accomplish when we actually genuinely believe in ourselves, have the confidence, and set our mind to something. Those three things every single time. And when you decide there is no other option, that's a
Right.
true testament to just getting what you have to done to get done.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think I was at Quantum Leap this week last year, and I was
Yeah.
able to take it with Gary, and he spent Gary Keller, for those of you who don't know that, we're besties. We're on first name basis. And he doesn't know that we're on a first name basis, but I'm definitely on a first name basis with him. And,
Perfect.
Gary was going through the story of his life and his career. And the next day they asked for ahas. And someone said, I think Gary's just a better decision maker than I am. And 1 year ago, I thought, that's it, right? We all have the same 24 hours. We all have the same opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes with making a decision. And sometimes that decision has to be made every hour of every day. And sometimes that decision has to be made daily. But either way, he was a better decision maker than 95% of his peers, which is why he is where he is. And so I started looking at life in that way. Like, there are days where I'm like, I should just give out stickers at Walmart. That is my calling, right? Like that is the day that we all have those days in leadership. We all
Oh,
have
we
those
do.
days in real estate. And then there are other days where someone walks in like they did last week and said, you killed it. This move, this transition was incredible.
Yeah.
And so I go, okay, this is why I get up every day and decide to do my best every day.
Yeah. Turn the stickers at that point back over to Walmart.
I mean, they're always sort of in the back pocket though, because whew.
I get that. As a serial entrepreneur and being in this industry now for
Yeah.
over a decade, I could wholeheartedly agree with you. And I'm sure a lot of
Yeah.
people listening, even if they aren't in this industry, would agree with you as well. Just some days, right? It's business ownership, it's entrepreneurship, it's leadership. It's all the ships, apparently. Okay, so all the ships. So one thing as well that I think a lot of people could learn that I know about you personally, and it was in a very short tribute in your bio, and I think it's really important to bring a light to, is you see teaching and training opportunities for your peers, for your colleagues, for other agents, and you're really good at executing on that as well. And a big hot topic over the last year, especially in our industry, is AI. And something pretty incredible, Delia, is you are teaching the course, the AI Playbook, right, for realtors and a blueprint for 2026. So tell us a little bit about that, how you combined, you said Keller Williams models and then overall business and automation models through AI. Tell us a little bit about your class and what have you learned through teaching that?
Well, they say the best way to learn is to teach it, right? I think you tell me that maybe once a week, if not more. Here's the thing. I don't have very many skills, but one of my skills is I can listen to something and I can spit it back out, right? Like I can hear it once and I can reteach it. And I don't really know where that comes from, but I can hear it. I can correlate it to what I know because I've spent years on the models and I've spent years on the information. And in order to get to mastery, you have to hear it and teach it over and over again. And so one of the things that I did was I realized after we got back from family reunion and they spent the whole time talking about AI was that I didn't know anything. Right? I knew who Siri was, and that was that was my only sort of like introduction to what AI might be. And so I made a decision to become a student of AI. And I started listening and learning and reading, and I listened to podcasts, and I started to understand that it wasn't here to replace me, it was here to make me better, faster, bigger, and stronger. And so when I took the class that was given by KW, I said, okay, this is awesome. And I've got to, put some razzle dazzle on it. So I then really started kind of taking the models of the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and the AI Playbook, and I started to marry the two. When I did that, agents started to perk up and they went, okay, this is why this is important to me. And so I've been teaching it. And crazily enough, I've had, if that's even a word, I have had agents drive hours to come listen to this class. And I did it workshop style. So we spent half the class on theory. The other half of the class, we actually build your AI. What I found is that we have a lot of gaps in our industry because real estate attracts so many different types of people. If you want to open a McDonald's, you typically are a restaurateur or you like the restaurant industry and you have some sort of experience and all these things, right?
Yep, you got to be a manager for so long and you got to work your way, right?
You got to work your way up the chain. Yep. You start by learning how to make the fries and then eventually you own a McDonald's. Well, in real estate, that is not true. We are attracting all different types of people in styles of learning and styles of personality. And so when I started marrying the models to the AI, people started to go, oh my gosh, now I understand how I can use it in this capacity. And then we graduate to automation. And when they go, okay, well, I can't afford leverage. I can't afford a marketing director. I can't afford a social media person. Well, here's what you can't afford not to do certain marketing activities. And then you start to think about, they say, well, I never get noticed online. Well, let me talk to you about how you create your digital footprint and how do you align your brand with that digital footprint. And here's how AI can help you do that. And then it just was like, people were like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And the best part about it is I built it so it's all authentic to you as the agent. So it's not a one size fits all class. It is
Yeah.
a framework. Here's what it is. Here's the theory. Here's how to use it. Now, each person in the class gets to implement it in their style, in their way, for what they need it for, all in
Yeah.
real time. So that was when I started going, there's real opportunity here. There's real opportunity to turn all of these people into serial entrepreneurs, into marketing gurus, into really strong listing agents, and be bigger, faster, better, and stronger than the competition because they understand how to play the game to get noticed, build the online footprint, and do it efficiently and consistently.
Yeah. Tell me if, we've got a lot of agents, obviously a lot of leaders, brokerage leaders, and people that lead other, people in our industry, whether it's agents, executive leaderships, etc. For the agents that are listening right now, or maybe even the leaders of agents, and
Yeah.
they're thinking, oh my God, I really want to teach AI, or right. So how were you, just the guru in this, or how did you come up with this workshop?
So, I mean, we're very, very fortunate here. The framework was given to us, right? Because we are an education based learning company. They provided the AI Playbook class. Here's all the slides, here's all the information, here's your speaking points, here's everything. Here's your
Yeah.
toolkit. Now go implement it in your local markets. So I was very, very fortunate in that way. And we also have so many resources with the podcasts, ongoing classes. I had just come off of Bold as well. And so we had some special sessions with Jason Abrams and Cody Gibson. So, here's the thing. In my world, I've done the math. We spend about 15 hours a week as leadership getting poured into.
Mm.
If you think about the people who are pouring into us, they are the top industry leaders. At least once a quarter, just as leadership, we're able to sit on a call with Gary Keller. Like, I don't know about you, but give me the Kool-Aid all day. If I get to listen to people who are being recognized outside of Keller Williams as being driving forces in this industry, I want to be in that room. And so I'm very, very fortunate that we have so much opportunity to learn. And then what I do as a leader in my market is I say, okay, where can I be of best use to my agents? What can I learn so that they can implement today? And so that's what I did. And with AI, it's like you're never going to stop learning. And you can't stop learning AI because tomorrow it's going to be different. Tomorrow it's going to grow. It's going to be different. It's going to change. So, taking frameworks that's given to us, adding the razzle dazzle spice on top, the experience, the stories, the relevance, everything that goes along with it, and then just reteaching that to agents is what we really do best. And I tell you what, the agents that plug in and do the work and show up to these opportunities, I cannot tell you this. It's, oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's incredible. And I was really fortunate in my last few classes to have people who work with Keller Williams and to have them give the feedback that, like, this is the best class that they've ever attended. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at real estate so much differently. And, or they're saying out loud in class, oh my gosh, I don't know anything. Because we're always weaving in the foundation of our business, which are the 4 models of the MREA. And so when they're asking questions and I'm saying, well, let's talk about your database. And they're like, my what? It's really interesting, but it's also super fulfilling to see someone have a light bulb go up. And if I can help them, regardless of what company they're at, I've just made some clients' transaction so much better.
Yeah. Well, and I think what I want really people to hear in that was you were not the guru of AI before you were confident enough to take the playbook and teach it. And I
there's so much I don't know.
Yeah, and that's okay. No one is going to
Yeah.
know everything around AI because it changes every single day, right? And so
Yeah.
if you're listening to this right now and you struggled with the confidence of leaning into the newest shiny object of our industry and most industries alike, hence AI, you don't have to be the guru in it yet in order to take a playbook that already exists and teach it. And for those of you who are listening, maybe aren't with KW and you're thinking, well, gosh darn it, I'm not with KW and I don't have that access. Ask AI to create a playbook for realtors on AI. And let me tell you,
I
it will
mean,
create a playbook for realtors on AI. And you can also say, create me now a book to follow along with. And oh, by the way, a presentation to also create for the presentation. So it,
yeah.
it's
Like
it's doing.
I found gaps in my system for onboarding where I was like, I need to help people with their branding when they come over. And so I went into AI and was like, fed in this whole big prompt about what I wanted, what I was trying to do, what my goal was, and what I needed. And it spit out this whole entire branding guide, aligned it with three major platforms, and then also gave me the top three landing pages for KW agents and their websites. And then I dropped it in Canva because I like to design. That's my creative outlet. And now it's like the system is I have a template in Gmail that I go bloop and I send to people when they're joining. And I've done that repeatedly with different guides that, you can do as an agent. If you think about every time I get a lead, I don't care if it's from all the big platforms, every time I get a hot lead and I'm going to run and open that door, I'm creating a transaction. But I really need to create a relationship. And how do I do that? Well, the experience lives in the systems. So create a system around capturing the lead, create communication so that you're constantly following up with them and getting them all the information that you need to get to them before you cross the threshold. That can all be done in AI. It's simple, not easy,
Yeah.
and it makes you so much more efficient and it's not scary, right? Like you can't break it.
Well, I just think what you just said is so powerful, and I don't want it to be missed, which is the relationship is in the systems. I mean, God, if you haven't taken away anything from this at this until this point, I mean, that's it alone, and the importance
Yeah.
of that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so much incredible and valuable information today, really, truly. I always love to, as we kind of slowly wrap up here, my favorite question that people give feedback to with leaders like yourself is what is a piece of advice that you'd give to other leaders of agents, team leaders, owner partners, rainmakers, mega agents, whatever you like to identify with for people listening? What is a
Yeah.
piece of advice you can't live without that you'd like to give them?
Oh my gosh. It's shifted over the years. And where I'm at today in my career is this: we have to be open to getting to the same result in different ways. Our
Mm,
industry is rapidly changing. I mean, the consolidation, the lawsuits, everything that's happening around us. It doesn't really change the fact that we still have to help people buy and sell real estate, right? But how we do that does have to change. And so having the mindset of, I need to look at things differently. I need to be open to different opportunities. And those opportunities could look like maybe a consolidation of my back office. Maybe it's a consolidation of my services. Maybe it's a consolidation of my leverage. Maybe it's a complete rebrand. Whatever that is, I might still end up at the same result. However, when I look at it through a different lens and I'm open to other opportunities, I promise you more doors will open and that you would have never expected. And I really truly have I really truly am here today, like in this spot, in this office, with this leader, with this new owner, operating principal, because I said a few expletives and said, what if we just did this? Like, what if I just decided to go against the grain and do this one thing? And I'll tell you what, it was 100% worth it. And it may have rocked a couple of boats. And everything I did was for the betterment of our agents and the betterment of our brand and the betterment of real estate industry in our market. I still ended with the same result, but I got here a completely different way than I thought I would. And I'm so incredibly fortunate to have thought of things differently.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
such great feedback. And I know I can relate, and I'm sure others that are still with us can relate as well. So much great material today. I mean, I know just alone from talking to you on a weekly basis that I take notes from you sometimes because you are just a wealth of knowledge. You really are. And I think that shined deeply through on this podcast today. Thank you on behalf of
Yeah.
everybody listening for sharing your knowledge. And if people want more of you, where can they find you?
I mean, obviously, I'm just everywhere. No, and I am building a brand, of being a real estate coach and leader. And so, literally, you can just find me by my name, Delia Dreifurst, which is DREI. And just find me on social media, find me on Google, find me on Facebook, Instagram, the TikTok, all of the places. I'm really working hard to share a little bit of knowledge that I bring every day. And I also learn from the people that follow me as well. So I'm just really blessed and pleased to be out there. So just look for me on social media, and I love to be your friend.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. I just
Yeah.
adore you so much and just appreciate your time. And again, thank you on behalf of everybody still listening to the Build Your Empire Through Real Estate podcast. We'll see you next time.